Hi, I'm Doug Patt, and this is How to Draw with Lead. Today, I'll be creating an abstract pencil rendering of machine parts. I'll be using a 0.5mm Pentel mechanical pencil with HB leads. You can also use a slightly larger diameter lead with a 0.7mm pencil, but I like the thinner line. The other type of pencil you may choose is a lead holder. These are a little tricky though because you've got to keep them sharpened. I'll also be using 4 different lead pencils. These are all Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencils. There's the 2H, the lightest and hardest I'll be using, an HB, which is the typical hardness on most pencils, and a 2B and 4B, both progressively softer and darker. I'll be using a small-sized adjustable triangle, a ruler, and drafting tape. I'll also have some templates I really like to use, as well as a compass, an electric eraser, and a metal eraser shield. So, I've cut out a small rectangular piece of Strathmore 400 series drawing paper. This paper is a little thin for my taste, but it has a nice texture and it's acid-free, so it should have a nice lifespan. I'm a classically trained artist, so I like to use the golden section and the root rectangles as the drawn armature on my page. I do this to help me organize and develop my drawing, but that's for another episode. Now, I love machines, and I really enjoy drawing abstractions of them. So, I chose these 3 machines I saw at our local fair this summer. I'm going to take visual cues from various parts of the machines and redraw them on the page, organizing them relative to the armature of my rectangle. I'm choosing the machine parts and their location on the page in a subjective manner, keeping in mind that the drawing should have a dominant direction in order to make the composition more dynamic. The drawing is made by using a 0.5mm mechanical pencil to lightly draw out the basic forms. Then, I simply add line weight and detail with my Staedtler HB pencil. I like to think about these compositions as sections through machinery, like an engine. For this reason, I'll typically give the exterior forms a kind of casing that appears in poche. Now, I like to render my drawings by constantly adding layers of lead. These layers are made by a series of hatched horizontal rows. The row dimension varies depending upon the size of the rendering, but it's typically about a ½ inch high. Once the drawing has been filled with rows of hatching, I'll spin the drawing 90 degrees and repeat. This process is repeated over and over again until the proper value for a specific location is achieved. The more layers of rendering you do, the deeper a shape becomes and the further away it appears. You can also add shade and shadow by making a series of lines against your straight edge or triangle. Finally, I like to scan the drawing in any number of graphics programs and add more depth and better contrast. And there you have it, an abstract rendering of farm equipment machine parts, and a few tips on drawing with lead. So, thanks for checking out How to Draw with Lead. See you next time.